for another daily. So this is the last of the month, and usually they're hard, but I guess this is an easy one. I'm gonna try to do this in, let's say, 5 minutes. All right, given a zero-indexed array, so I'll create a length variable for it. Apply n-1 operations to this array where the ith operation you apply the or in the ith operation you apply the following on the ith element. So if nums I and nums I plus 1, if the adjacent elements are equal, multiply the prior element by 2, double it, and then set the following element to 0, otherwise skip the operation. After performing all the operations, shift all the zeros to the end of the array. Okay, so all non-zero elements are in the front, and all zero elements are in the back. Sure. Alright, so the answer is going to be an array, so I'll just do an empty array here. I'm going to actually do a count of the number of zeros, and that will be appended to the end. And okay, so this is just going to be for every index in the array. Let's go ahead and maybe do, since I'm going to access the index and the following index, I'm going to go ahead and prevent it from going to the very last index of the array. I'm not going to bounce, say value is equal to nums I, value after is equal to nums at I plus 1, and let's say if value equals value after, then what I want to do is I want to append twice the value to my answer array. Value times 2, and then I know that the following element becomes 0, so the 0 count is going to be incremented by 1, and I want to skip over this entry in the, so for instance if it's like so for instance if it's comparing 2 and 2, I is at index 1, and the next time I do it I want to be at index 4 or 3, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3. So since I'm changing two things, I'm going to but if I do that, it doesn't actually work in this setup because this thing is always going to set I to be the following value in this arrangement. So I'm going to use a while loop here. While I is less than n minus 1. Yeah. So here I'm going to say I plus equals 1, I plus equals 1 normally. And then there's going to be an else here. If it's not the same, then I'm just going to append that current value. Okay. And then if I'm dealing with the last value will always be appended. Let's see, if I'm 2 away, I think here if I say if I is less than n, answer append value. Apply it sequentially once, and then I do answer equals answer plus some number of zeros. Okay, let's see if that works. So 1, 4, 2 came out right. The 1, 1. So this should become 4, this should become 0. This should become 2, and this becomes 0. 2, 2, 2. Why didn't I do that? So I less than. Let's go and just do compare val and val after. Comparing 1 and 2, 2 and 2, 1 and 1. When I compare the 1 and 1, it should have appended 2. Should have appended 2. Let's go and just print whatever the answer is currently in each loop. The answer is 1, the answer is 4, the answer is 2. Interesting. The answer is 4, the answer is 2. And there should be a number of zeros. Ooh, why is there 3 zeros? Well, why is there only... This should have made this 0. This should have made this 0. And this 0 should be left the same. What is the value of I after I finish here? Value I is index 5. 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, shit me. Okay, this should be, this wasn't signed. Is it I? Or it could be nums at -1. Okay, 0, 1. 0 is fine. Oh. Does all zeros get moved to the back? I see. Okay, so I can't do this quite. I can't do this correctly. I have to. I have to move all the zeros to the back. I think this is a special case where I can just, if the value is equal to 0, then continue. Yeah. 0 count plus equals 1, continue. Oh shoot, this is not right. I need to actually increment the index. Okay, hopefully this works. Alright, let's test it out. Alright, pretty good solution. So yeah, create an array for my answers that will keep track of my non-zero values. go iterate through the array using a while loop here. Again, I use the while loop because a for loop would not necessarily allow me to skip over certain indices. I will always increment to the next index within a for loop, but I'm going to skip over stuff that is like connected connected values that are the same, adjacent values that are the same. In the loop, I'm going to see if it's a zero value. Zero values are just tracked as a counter using counter and appended to the very end after you do the non-zero stuff. So that does continue to just do the next loop. Compare the value and the next value. If they're the same, then append onto my array the doubling of that value, that first value. Add 1 to the zero counter because the second value is going to become 0 at the end. And then this skips over the next index that I look at. Otherwise, it's not the same, then, and it's not 0, then just append that value to my answers, and then again increment the index at the very end. Because I cut short this thing, the last index could possibly be something that I need, so I add it to the end. Alright.